Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. There's a question that what are the best ways to fear Allah wherever you are?
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول
The
الله.
way we fear Allah is, firstly, we have to understand what is fear of Allah. Right? There is a negative fear, which is when you are wary of something that you expect harm from or that you dislike. And that is not the fear we have for Allah. The relationship that we have with Allah is a relationship of love and gratitude. Love and gratitude. We know Allah is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. He is the all-merciful and all-compassionate. The relationship between Allah and His servants is يُحِبُّهُمْ وَيُحِبُّونَ. He loves them and they love Him. But we are called upon to have fear of Allah. What is this fear? This fear is a reverent awe. You consider the greatness of God, the greatness of Allah's rights over you, how greatly indebted you are to Allah. So you are humbled before the greatness of Allah and you feel shameful of falling short of fulfilling Allah's rights. So this is expressed in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, أَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ. As for the one who is in awe, in fear of the great station of their Lord, وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى, and who keeps their lower self from its wayward ways, فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. Then paradise is indeed their resting place. Then paradise is indeed their resting place. So this tells us that how do we fear Allah? Firstly, we know who is Allah. He is our creator, our sustainer. We are in need of Him. We are indebted to Him. We love Him. We are grateful to Him. But we feel we fall short of the right of who Allah is. We fall short. So what do? This is the great right of Allah upon us that we are fearful of. So what do? أَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى. And who forbids his lower self from its wayward ways. Right? So positive fear is to change. You know what you owe Allah. You know who Allah is. So you commit to change. And what is the change? To forbid your lower self from its wayward ways. What are the wayward ways of the lower self? That you refuse to succumb to your sinful desires. And most important are the desires of one's private parts, sexual desires, and the desires of our tongue to engage in sinful speech, such as lying, backbiting, slander. And then there are the desires of our harmful whims, You're just walking down the street, you see some random movie that's on in a cinema, and this is not something you do as a concerned believer, but just whimsically, you decide, why not? That's hawa, right? And that causes us ruin. You weren't desiring it or whatever, you're just walking by and you drifted and you didn't restrain yourself. So having fear of Allah, you remind yourself, who is Allah? What does He represent in my life? What do I owe Allah? So you're wary of His displeasure. So, but what do? This is positive fear. So we return to Allah. وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى. And we forbid ourselves from its wayward ways. And what is the consequence? This is positive fear. فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. Then indeed, paradise is their resting place. Then paradise is their resting place. So our reverent awe of Allah causes us to flee to Allah. Right? Flee to Allah. But with that fear or that awe is inseparable from hope. From hope. You want the good with Allah. You want to be eternally with Allah eternally in paradise. So that fear, when it's positive, cannot be divorced from hope, seeking good outcomes with Allah. That's how we have hope. So what do we do practically as believers? Have a plan in life. Have a commitment and a plan. I want to seek the pleasure of Allah. I do not want to seek the displeasure of Allah. I want to increase in consciousness of Allah, and I want to avoid sin. I want to avoid the disliked. I want to avoid being heedless in life. And I want to embrace their opposites. That's why hope and fear are connected to taqwa, to mindfulness of Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of the mindful, of those فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. Indeed, paradise is their resting place. Walhamdulillah.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.